So this is probably a game that no one has really heard of. It is well, the run's gonna go really fast. There's quite a bit to do. We're gonna be doing the Faith difficulty for the speedrun, just because it's, well, easier and more safe for a marathon purpose. Because I could still just die straight up doing the speedrun. So there's that. This game has a lot of different settings for different things. But yeah, so just double checking that my controller binds are done. So this is a Doom-like marathon first-person shooter. Probably the only first-person shooter I've decided to actually learn to speedrun and spend a lot of time on. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. But we're going to be starting from a fresh file, collecting a bunch of upgrades along the way, and yeah, it'll be a fast run, and you'll see what I mean as we get upgrades throughout the run. It's got some slight mechanics that make it feel sort of like an RPG, but we are role-playing as a character called the Martyr, and all of the lore for the game is within the game itself, and you'll see a bit of it on the load screens from here, from point to point. But yeah, we have a prologue and an epilogue to get through for the open and closing of the run, and we have plenty of cool boss fights and cool movement to do along the way. But anyways, we'll begin the run on the confirm here. So we're going to erase all of our progress and restart. So in 3, 2, 1, go. I'll explain more about the run as best I can as we go through it. The game does move pretty fast once we get going, and explaining things as I'm doing them might be a little tricky, but for those that haven't played this game before, you'll quickly see some things going on. So we have to wake up the Martyr, and we're going to do things like jump. We gotta pick up the helmet, which I didn't do. We need to grab our... Did we grab the... Yeah, we did. Okay. So I need to grab my sprint. And I fell. That's unfortunate. So we have a double jump and a sprint. And for some reason I missed the jump there. And a stamina and hunger gauge that we need to keep track of. And that allows us to move around really quickly. And all sorts of things like that. We lose the pistol we pick up because we're supposed to use it for shooting range, but we don't bother with that. We're going through the tutorial, and then we'll be in the prologue. There is a bit of gore in this game. It is waifus, but we'll have some movement to do, bunny hopping, all sorts of fun stuff like that. And when you get momentum, you really get momentum going. So we're gonna try to get our bunny hops to preserve our stamina, get the movement speed that we need. It's a 2D, 3D sort of game. I have to manually reload for everything from start to finish. It's not a simple one-button reload either. We visit a place called the Sanctuary. And then we're going to pick up some of these supplies and then go down into the first level. So Act 1 is the landing. And the main goal of this run, and based on the story and the lore, is that as the Martyr, we're trying to stop the angels. Well, the demons that have become angels themselves. I need to switch back to my gun here. I need to interact open doors. I need to avoid enemies. I'm going to be grabbing these oxygen canisters so that I can recharge my stamina. And hopefully not horribly die with the martyr here. Oh my god. That was not good. Alright, we're okay now. I have to reload every single round in this gun that we're using. So we'll kind of do that like between the levels on the exits. There is a possibility that the run could crash, but generally, as long as we'll be fine. Because the game will either catch us on the start of a level or at a checkpoint or something like that, which is not a big deal since most of these levels go pretty quickly. So we're going to grab this pistol. We're going to make our way through this area. You can fire this gun sideways, which has a slightly faster fire rate. Doesn't deal nearly as much damage as the other gun. I also have to be careful with my reloads because we don't want to waste magazines by doing unnecessary reloads. And we'll have limited carrying capacity for our stuff. And we want to reselect the right guns here. I went the wrong way, unfortunately, because I am dumb and it's been a while. But that's fine, we got extra ammo, which is fine. We're gonna bunny hop our way this way. There's some oxygen canisters over here that we want an extra life in case we do need it, but hopefully we don't. And we'll get our first stat point here off side, and we're going to be getting our maximum vitality and stuff. We'll be getting movement speed and stuff later on as well. A lot of these levels are going to go pretty quickly, but we have quite a bit of a game to get through. There is 8 different stages, excluding the prologue and the epilogue. Grab those, grab this ammo, because we'll need it. That is not the way I want to be going. It's a stat point that we want here, and we're going to increase our movement speed. We need to grab as much money along the way as possible as well, because it's going to be what we use to buy upgrades for our weapons. So those health things are useful because they allow me to get free health without using a med kit of my own. And as we go through the stages, you see like a panel build up for like image from the boss that we're going to be fighting. So we get access to the shotgun here. Is really devastating if we can land a throw a grenade down there. And then we want to grab this armor here. That'll help keep us protected on our HP here. Grab that card key that we need. We're going to try to bunny hop our way this way. And the faster I can tap my button, the faster that we'll get shots to go off. I'm gonna make sure that I grab these med kits, and then I'm gonna throw a grenade there and a grenade there. And I can kill myself with my own weapons, so I do want to be careful with like grenade shots and things like that. Unfortunately, if I try to, like, when I get a rocket launcher later, if I try to rocket jump with it, which is possible, right now I'd probably kill myself, which is not a good idea. Alright, the music seems a little weird in some stages, because it goes from, like, kind of, like, sci-fi to, like, kind of peaceful sounding, which is counterintuitive to the amount of gibbing that we're going to be doing in the run. But I gotta make sure that I get all these chests for money, because we're going to be buying a shotgun upgrade. But I can hopefully reload less between shots. I'm gonna grab all of this gold here. Those guys will throw grenades as well, so I do want to be careful of that. Want to get that here. Want to jump and sprint that way because there's a machine gunner around that corner there. And we're gonna get a lot faster as we get the rest of our movement tech in the run as well. And we're gonna be getting those energy cells. So there's invincible enemies here. They're a little hard to see. And then there's free health in there, so we're gonna grab that. We'll be getting the upgrade for the shotgun in a moment here, once we get this gold chest and deal with a couple enemies in the next room where the upgrade table is. Throw a grenade there, explode that. Finish grabbing some armor here. Use that. We're gonna get the extension tube for more ammo capacity in this gun. So now we can hold 10 rounds and one in the chamber at the same time. Means you won't have to reload nearly as much along the way. And things carry over between levels. Need to get in the hole, please. Thank you. There's jump pads that we'll be using as well. For that stage. So this will be the first boss, which is the Demon of Purity. I can't really pronounce the boss's name, unfortunately. We get access to a weapon here to fight the boss with, which makes the boss super easy. You just need to sit here and unload with this Gatling gun called the Painkiller. Alright, and then we can avoid the rest of the enemies here. We're trying to set up a bunch of these bombs here, called the purifier devices, that'll help rid the world of all these fake demon angels. And then we're going to collect a few body parts along the way. So we're going to be collecting the Arms of Wrath right now. And then we're going to be using all these body parts we collect to assemble at the very end when we close out the run. So we have quite a few body parts to pick up. We grab the arms, we'll drink the tea for full health and food bonus. Because we want to make sure our food is as high up as possible. The lower our food, our hunger meter is, the less max HP and stamina that we'll have in the run, which would be really bad for us. So the higher it is, the better. So we're going to go this way. We're going to go get our first damage reduction in armor. And then we lose that gun, so we got to make sure we put on our other gun here, and then grab all these free supplies between stages that we might need. Then head down. There is some lore, now that we collected the body parts. We'll go through the lore at the end. And quickly read that. But other than that, for right now we're just kind of moving along through the levels as fast as we can. So here is where we'll get the power grip so we can climb. And then we're gonna skip over these enemies, start climbing up here. Get through these enemies here. We don't have to fight enemies. If we can avoid them, we will. Just want to go fast. The less waifus that we have to kill along the way, the better for us. I fell down, which is not good, but we can climb back up here. Alright, so for this part, we have to activate some switches to open a door. We want to get more money along the way for some more upgrades. We want to hit this jump pad to get to the other switch up here. There's another switch here. And then there'll be another jump pad here for the last switch to open the door through. And then some more money in that chest there. Grab that quickly and then get to the exit here. On the bottom left, you'll see a bit of lore as we go through the game. And maybe some of the stuff will make sense. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But anyways, we get the SMG now, which is a faster fire rate weapon. I can melt most enemies pretty quickly. Unfortunately, it's not very good against the shield guys. We're gonna switch to the shotgun here, because it's just a little bit more convenient. I need the money up here. I do want to grab this ammo that's up here. Try to avoid a lot of enemies. We're gonna get the rocket launcher, the law. Trying to unlock this passage here to go get an upgrade and some money. Need to spend the upgrade though. We want recovery speed. be spending the upgrade points later, but for now, just going to be using that to get by. We can avoid the tanks and stuff, we're going to avoid them. We just want to kind of save as much of our supplies. I want to get around these tanks if I can. They will kill me if I'm not careful. I'm like out of stamina, so we're gonna use an oxygen. Very easy for me to die too, so we're gonna grab that. Skip over all of these enemies. Get right to the exit here. So some stages will go by in a blink of an eye, some stages will take like a couple minutes. But as we go through them, zone by zone, we'll get through them, no problem. So we're supposed to drive a tank here through this level, but driving the tank is really slow. So instead, we're going to just unlock the gate. And we're going to just move through the area by bunny hopping quickly to avoid a lot of the danger. So we're simultaneously holding our movement in the direction we want to go, tapping sprint as we're jumping to get a bunny hop, and trying to do a nice rhythm for that, so that we can keep moving. We're supposed to unlock the gate here to get around it, or to get through it, but we can kind of just go around conveniently, because they didn't stop you from like walking around it. There's also a upgrade over here that we're going to grab. And then that's going to be for 1 point into Glutton, which will allow us to hold more med kits and food and oxygen canisters, which are vital for our survival and for going fast in the run. There's a bunch of landmines around here. Don't need to worry about them. We're going to be heading down over here to go get an assault rifle. There's a bit of a detour and some ammo that we might need. So these enemies, when you kill them, they explode. I also want to grab this money. Grab that extra health, because we can have over health. And then we're going to swap back to this rifle here. We'll have the Cavalier rifle for quite a while, but we'll be fine. So we're gonna come over here to this room, deal with these enemies. This tank usually comes over here to blow itself up. We're just gonna wait for it to do that. It's not doing it, apparently. Okay, well, I just kicked it out of my way. We can do it that way, I suppose. Grab this money here. Okay, tank's dead. Put the batteries in to open the door. We're gonna swap back to our shotgun. Try not to die while passing through this area. Alright, so far so good. Alright, so for this stage, I'm gonna kill those enemies there, but if I throw a grenade, I'm gonna need to grab this armor here to get through this part. So I don't take as much HP damage. Okay, I didn't that guy, that's fine. Alright, so we can climb up here, hit this switch, on down here. Avoid those enemies. Need to go up here. If I can avoid fighting things, I'm going to. Hopefully I don't die in the process of that happening. So if we're trying to go for headshots as well, because kills enemies quicker, we need to get the switch there, bunny hop, double jump over here. Grab these energy cells, because we'll need them for a different weapon later. Gonna head on down here. Activate the switch here. We can get back on track to finishing this stage. I want this armor. That guy's in my way. I need to move them out of my way in order to get by them. I'm gonna grab stuff here. Grab another upgrade point here. We're gonna want the speed, which is going to be in greed. We're gonna get even faster with it. Grab some more stuff here. Sometimes I'm a little too fast, so it's harder to hit switches. And skip over that guy by opening the door and then crouching under it. We'll be coming up on a boss called Salone, which is the Demon of Temperance. Grab some more oxygen tanks and shotgun ammo. Double jump up here. We're going to be getting a sniper here as well on this stage. You have to kill these guys to make the wall lower after I get the sniper here. And it uses a single shot. Grab the health kit here. I'm going to switch to the rifle. And we're going to be climbing a large area here. I need to use an oxygen tank because stamina is a little low, unfortunately. Every action you do in this game requires stamina. Sprinting, double jumping, all that stuff. Which is why we'll be increasing our recharge rate for that throughout the run as well. We need the upgrade point that's over here before we climb. Where's our stamina? Our stamina recharge. Climb up this section and hopefully not fall down as we're parkouring around. Gotta make some ladder jumps here, which are a little tricky to do with the movement speed and stuff that we have by doing sprint jumps, but hopefully we can get all the way up because it's slower to climb. We don't land on the ladder exactly where we want. All right. Time for temperance. So we talk to this angel, and they'll drop a weapon for us to use. We're gonna go ahead and fill up the rest of our armor. And we'll try to land these rockets in between the shields here on this boss. There we go. There's some medkits over here that we can pick up before the bomb goes off, if we can get lucky. That's fine. We'll get more on the way back to Sanctuary here. So now we gotta pick up the legs of Sloth. These are all parts from a previous angel that was torn apart. Need to go around, get them, and then that door to the exit will open up, so we can go in. The legs, grab the T, and get to the exit. Alright, so we're back on intermission. We'll get our upgrade to our attire soon. After the next stage anyways, we have to do Act 3 in order to get that. That'll give us further damage reduction. It'll make it a little bit less difficult for us to die. We're going to go ahead and get an upgrade on the rocket launcher called Cluster Warheads. And that's all we can afford right now. Make our way to the area. Pick up all of the stuff that we can. On to Act 3, Lust Machine. We're gonna get the high jump, which you can hold a jump to gain height. That, and combined with the rest of the movement tech, can be quite handy. And we're also going to be swimming through water in some areas. Money here that we want to grab. We need to grab this rebreather so we can stay underwater longer without draining our oxygen. So there's a chain reaction explosion which kills all those for us. Also the Uzi here, or this Uzi like kills guys much better underwater than a lot of the other weapons. Alright, so for this stage, a bunch of things that switches that we have to go get. Or batteries, sorry. And then there's an upgrade point on this stage as well that we're gonna go collect. The water is also toxic to us, so we want to be careful about staying in it for too long. That health there. Go get this upgrade here. And that'll upgrade our movement speed even more. Alright, now that we got all 4 batteries, we can exit the stage. Plugging all of these in. Find the spot for it. There is a couple gold chests around the side here, so we're gonna go pick those up. And then this is that tall boy, but we don't want to fight tall boy, so we're gonna go down the hole and exit the level. There's a lot of enemies in this game where both organic and machine. Essentially, as far as the game's lore goes, a lot of the last humans on Earth started cybernetically enhancing them, and demons wanted to become angels. And nonsense like that, that's something I want. Around here, pick up this food for extra health. I need to go this way. I didn't mean to pick up the mine. That's unfortunate. Not the weapon I wanted to pick up. There is an upgrade point in here. We want to take care of those. Upgrade our recovery. And then we're going to be going to get the key to get out of the stage. So in order to do that, we're just going to shortcut our way over here like that. Go get that key without jumping up the intended way. Trying to grab the armor off these armor stands. Fill our oxygen. And head underwater here. Got the rebreather here. Then we're going to head underwater and then pull out the SMG because it'll be a lot better to use the sun water. That is not what I was looking for. Why am I having difficulty finding what I'm looking for here? There we go. There we go. Out. If you aim down, you can look at our legs. There's also slides and slide kicks you can do, mid-air kicks as well. All sorts of like little fun movement stuff you can do. Slides are just so much slower though than doing bunny hops though, but unfortunately we can't do any of that stuff in the water, so we're just gonna try to use sprint sparingly while we're underwater here to kind of move fast. Need the upgrade first. What am I doing? I need this money. Go down, please. There we go. There's the upgrade point that we wanted. We're going to be getting our movement speed and max stamina up. Navigating this underwater maze area to get outside here. There's 4 crystals that we need to break in order to open the way forward here. So the other thing is that you'll see me periodically do is unload my magazine to conserve ammo and then load it. Because if I do a reload while there's ammo still in the magazine, you will lose it. Stop being bad. Oh. You should have seen how rough the last 2 boss fights were in Stellar Blade. This is not being bad, thankfully. We're doing good, at least in this game, comparatively. The only thing I need to not do is die in like 14 seconds or less, because that's all it takes for an enemy to kill me in this game. So we get access to the mech here, which unfortunately has a banger soundtrack that we won't really get to hear much of. Also, by swapping weapons, we can apparently sprint by holding it down, which I don't think was actually intended, but it is a thing that we can do. We also have access to jump jets, and we can skip most of the stages using this mech, thankfully. And the mech can kind of bunny hop, but it's just not as fast. Kind of going a little bit faster than the mech by doing sprint jump bunny hops here. And then I'm gonna get out of the mech, sprint the rest of the way up, now that I'm safe. Alright, time for the boss Titus, Demon of Justice. Not dying in this game is a lot harder than it sounds. Die in 14 seconds or less in this game. Just by standing still for any amount of seconds. So we get a thing there. We need the air dash upgrade. So now we can do an air dash by sprinting midair. And grab that armor to refill. Wearing the heavy armor, or the other armors in the game, slows my movement speed, and we don't want that. Boss is dead. Yeah, we gotta go this way. Go get the bomb, but now we have air dash with the double jumps. A little bit more convenient to change our direction mid-air like that. Now we're gonna go pick up the intestines of gluttony. Alright, so now that we're on intermission 3, we can go ahead and get another upgrade for our clothing that we're wearing. I also want to get another upgrade for the rocket launcher. Go. And that'll carry over to a better rocket launcher later, thankfully. Your upgrades between some stuff carries over. So now we have like 30% damage reduction going forward without armor. It's kind of nice. So we're on to Act 4, so we have 4 more to do after. 4 more to do after this, right? Yeah. That includes the epilogue, though. The epilogue's a bunch of like parkouring and stuff that we'll end up doing once we have all our upgrades. Alright, so on this stage, you would have to hope that you have picked up the air dash so that you can get across these gaps. And you use that with the double jump and you can gain some pretty good speed with it. Waifu. Hi, waifu. She, that waifu sells weapons to you. Gotta go ahead and refill my armor off these stands here. I used to be able to grab that gold chest, but if I throw a grenade and blow all those enemies up, there's a chance the game will just crash, so we just skip that one now. And hope that we are fast enough at getting the rest of the gold throughout the run that we don't need to worry about that. As long as we get our more important upgrades, we'll be okay. There's only a couple more upgrades that we need gold for throughout the rest of the run anyways, so should be okay. Any extras we get would be welcome. Throw a grenade there. Make sure that they stay dead. I'm gonna eat and heal here. We get the upgrade on the rocket launcher, which is significantly better than the rocket launcher we had, because this one can hold 4 shots before needing to reload. Switch back to our shotgun. Skip through those enemies. Hold there. To get up around here. We need to go down here to go get this card key to open a door. I'm gonna do a high jump here, climb up here. Go through this way. I went down too soon, didn't I? No, I didn't. Key over here. Go around everything. With our movement speed, as long as we don't stop moving, we'll be okay. I also just don't want to get caught in a corner or something like that, because I'd have to kick enemies out of the way. Definitely don't want that to happen, because closer enemies are to me, then faster I'll die. Especially if they have a shotgun themselves, because point-blank shotguns hurt. If you missed the assault rifle, you would get it there. This is a recreation stage of the first Citadel. There's 2 games in this area, and I missed the high jump there. It'll put me back up where I last landed. Compared to the first game, at least if you miss a jump, it just puts you back where you last landed. Whereas in the first game, you just die and have to restart the entirety of the stage. But we're gonna skip the entire level by doing that. So we're over halfway through the run at this point, because some of the later stages go by pretty quick from some of them. Once we get all of our movement tech and things. I do want to go up here. We're going to be doing a little skip here. I need to do a high jump. Flamethrower guys are pretty deadly, so I'm gonna try not to die to them. We'll do another high jump to get up here. There's some snipers trying to kill us along the way. There's a tank on our way there, but we're, like I said, gonna avoid trying to fight as much stuff as possible. Clear off the enemies there. There's a Gatling gun here, but we really don't need it. We just need this jetpack, so we can use it to skip the rest of the level. As long as you have the stamina and the movement, and you know how to chain it together to carry the momentum, you can kind of do a lot of crazy things as far as speed goes in the game. So this level is another interesting one, because instead of going through train car to train car, we're going to high jump up off this little ledge here by backing up at the same time. And that'll allow us to skip over the train cars. Gonna jump up here, not die to those Gatling guns, and we're gonna use the air dash to jump over to the other train. Probably I would have landed up top, but that's fine. There'll be an upgrade point over there that we want as well. We'll use this point here to do another high jump. Okay, I recovered. That's fine. We don't need that. That's maxed, and then we want our maxed. Oh, why did I get lag there? Okay. So we're just skipping everything in the level. I missed the teleporter. There we go. Alright, level's over. That's what I wanted to. Why go through the level when you can go over it? Alright, so boss time against Humility. We're to be collecting the head of Envy after this. And that's our little brother. He gives us a weapon here to fight the boss with. We want to dodge these lasers that the boss summons. Like pillars. If we get caught by them, they'll... There we go. Almost dead. Go activate the bomb again. And that rocket launcher that we bought the upgrades for, we'll use it to melt another boss that we encounter in seconds. And that will be soon-ish. Alright, so for this stage, I'm gonna go ahead and... Why isn't it? Why isn't it? What's the bloody button? Thank you. I forgot what the button is. We're gonna be using the map here to navigate this level instead. I forgot what the button was. Because navigating the hallways, everything looks the same. Won't get to really see this level, unfortunately. Alright, so through that, we're back on the intermission. Doing Act 5, Songs of the Sisters coming up. Get our shotgun back out. Grab our health and stuff to restock our supplies. Oh yeah, I need to get the switch here. And we'll be getting another air, we'll get our second air dash on this level to maximize the rest of our movement kit. Technically, you'd want it for doing this, but we're going to do a sprint double dash, or double jump off that with the movement speed. Grab that, and then back up through the hole. That's just the martyr's avatar. That avatar reacts the same way you would be in like in Doom, for instance. Like you see your character's model face reacting to shots and progressively gets more beat up and damaged as you go through. Okay, there's a skip here that we're gonna do off this locker. So I'm gonna high jump off of it. Get to this door quicker, and we're going to go up this elevator. And hopefully land the movement in this section here, so this level's over faster than it started. We need to collect these batteries to open the way out. Like I said, using the double jump air dashes and stuff like that, we'll be able to collect all of these batteries pretty easily. Not fall down, hopefully. Do a high jump here to go get this one. And then we're gonna plug them all in here at the end of the level. Hopefully not get blown up by all the rockets and stuff. And then sneak past this mech by crawling on the ground. Level's over. Yeah, if I die, though, our character catastrophically gets mutilated, and we definitely don't want to see that because I don't want my ribcage exposed. Because every character in the game is a waifu. Also, this stage is going to go fast if we don't fall off. So we're supposed to, this is like a sniper's alley level. a lot of enemies around, but we're going to kind of speed through it with using all the movement that we have. I missed the jump there, unfortunately. Sometimes I'm just going a little too fast. It's harder to correct with the air dashes. I did it again. There we go. I need to make sure that I'm going in the right direction when I want to do that air dash, or else it'll just send me flying in the wrong direction. We're combining bunny hops with double air dashes and our double jump. We can get to the end of the level. As long as we don't stop moving, we won't die in like 14 seconds, and that's like pretty much the main thing you'll learn quickly in the run. Because we don't grab actual armor. We have like pseudo armor. Alright, so in this stage, we're collecting a few things. This is a bit of a longer stage here. We need to go get a couple keys to progress here. And there's quite a few tough enemies and demons and angels trying to stop us. But for the most part, we're going to be skipping all of that. We'll use a high jump to get over here. Grab this key. Jump up here to go around all of this. Need to hit some levers as well. Open some doors to get by. Did those enemies die? So we need to grab those keys early on so that we can open those doors that we went in for those 2 switches. Oh, I did that wrong. It's okay. Here we go. Backwards into the hole. The timer was paused? Hopefully not. I'm running a timer on my end for just a minute over an hour at this point. We still have a little bit more to go. Another 30-ish minutes or more. Alright, so in this stage, we're not going to do any of it. We're going to go and avoid all of these aliens. We're going to go get this mech and skip the entirety of the stage. Because we're supposed to go all the way around, activate it. Oh! Not get out of the mech would be great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the jump jet to get up here. And use that to get up on these ledges where these enemies are. And we can get out of the mech and then we're at the end of the level. Instead of going the long way around. Alright, so we're on to the next demon here, which is the Demon of Diligence, which is the next boss. And then we'll be collecting the Genitalia of Lust after this boss. So we got weapon here, and we'll get the armor here for safety to mitigate some damage. We're gonna go grab this jump jet here so we can fly while we're doing this boss. There's like rockets all over the side, those big things that you see on the left and right. And then there's some on my sides as well. They're constantly shooting at me. And in this boss fight, he's constantly dropping ads as well, so we want to just focus on killing the boss instead. Alright, boss is dead. Fly over here to the door to go activate the next bomb, which like I said is called the purifier device. Because in order to purify things, we have to kind of end humanity in the process. Alright, time to collect us some genitalia. That's why we want to... Oh, wrong door. Look, that's us. The memory. We get to see ourselves there. Make sure we grab the tea. Always good time for tea. Alright, so we'll be moving on here to Act 6. Unfortunately, all the angels that were still alive in Sanctuary are now dying to a boss. We're gonna get our final upgrade here to damage reduction, and then this boss is gonna die in seconds. There we go. That's what those upgrades on the rocket launcher were for. So unfortunately, now there's no angels left in Sanctuary. We're the only survivor now at this point. There's also an in-game lore reason why there's respawns and extra lives and stuff in the game, which is kind of interesting. I'll explain that a bit later once we actually get to the part where it makes sense to talk about it. I need to get through, please. Thank you. I'm gonna blow these guys up with some grenades. I need to get the armor here. And the health would be nice. Need to get this key over here. Might get a little laggy in some sections because there's a lot of enemies and possibly explosions going on. Gonna go underwater here. And through the end. Alright, so we have this. We only have 2 more larger stages after this section to go. We have a lot longer levels towards the last leg of the game, but there's a whole parkour section attached to it, which there's a couple skips that we can do in there. Requires some rhythmic tapping. Need to go get a key up in this room. I don't like the flamethrower guy. He's trying to kill me. I don't want the C4. That guy is in my way. That was close. Went too fast is the card key that I was trying to get. Be another upgrade we're trying to get as well. I don't have the key? How do I not have the key? Oh yeah, I forgot. I gotta go this way to get it. Out of my way, please. Oh, it's unfortunate. I need to get that switch unlocked to get this door. Up the extra health here. We're gonna skip fighting these big scary looking angels. I just need to get this door switch over here. Getting stuck on the enemies. Alright, so this is a stage where we have to collect a bunch of things. We're gonna go this way first. I need to get these batteries to open the exit. I do like that you can punt enemies out of your way. This is super handy. There's a switch here that we want to grab. We can get this battery. And another switch at the far end here that we want to go get. We can go all the way over on this side to go get the battery that we need. And there's a bunch of money chests that we're gonna open on these sides. So that we have the money that we need to get an upgrade for the machine gun when we pick it up soon. Yeah, a lot of this, casually, a lot of these stages are going to take you like 15 to 30 minutes or more to do, but since we're skipping through a lot of stuff and only picking up what we kind of need, I gotta refill my rockets by grabbing those up there, overheal off that health there. You can skip a section here by going up here, the high jump. Skip over basically the entire level here. Well, half the level anyways. Do here as well. Refill our armor off these stands. And this little hole here to activate the door that we need to get out of here. Get away from those enemies. I need to get the shotgun ammo to refill, just in case we do need it, but I've been pretty sparing with my shotgun use. And then after this next zone, we'll be fighting the Demon of Pestilence. Sorry, Patience. I'm dumb and I can't read, apparently. Which, the boss's actual name is Grimelda. So we're... not that way. Need to turn around. Oh yeah. This is where we get the machine gun. I can get the launch pad here. Here. Finally get rid of that Cavalier rifle for the machine gun. And do manual reloads so we don't lose any ammo doing this. Need to go over here now. Got the actual switch that we need, or the key. Supposed to do a lot of other stuff in this section as well, but we're going to skip all of that. So I'm going to go up here. We're going to grab the heavy machine gun ammo here. We're going to do a high jump into a dash and air jump. Go over here. Go around the wall, the block wall that we're supposed to open. Skips a lot of other stuff that we have to go do. Alright, time to fight Grimilda. We're gonna want to get our high capacity here, and we can get the micro missiles, thankfully. We do need our own weapon for this fight, but we do still have the rocket launcher we'll be using on this fight, thankfully. We just threw a whole bunch of rockets at the boss. Boss is dead. And grenades. We threw rockets and grenades at the boss. Purifier activated. We're gonna heal up food and stuff. Now we gotta collect us a nice shiny new pair of lungs. Well, they're not new. They're new to us, but they're actually used. I guess they're used black market lungs at this point. Alright, so in this stage here, you learn about the fact that we're cloned, which is why there's a bunch of cryogenic pods everywhere. And we're gonna skip over the maze to go get the key that we need and the lungs. These tall boys have waifu faces, but we don't stop actually look at them. Alright, so we're getting close to the end of the run at this point. We should be finishing within the next 15 minutes or so. 15 to 20 minutes. Based on the current pace. We have everything we need to kind of finish up the rest of the game at this point. We just need one more body part to collect off Act 7, and then we'll be getting into the epilogue after that. So, end of the world. Try to get through this area without struggling too much, hopefully. There's a lot of enemies in this tight corridors, and the library is not a fun level to do with all of these enemies in the way. Need to, like, kind of kick them out of my way to get by. Don't want to die here. I need this guy to move. There we go. I slided under him. We're good. Yeah, we should be finishing about 15 to 20 minutes from now, roughly, based on what I'm seeing. Had a little bit of a slow start with the run there with some of the levels. Everything else is pretty straightforward as far as progression goes. Got everything we needed. I didn't miss an upgrade along the way. We're okay at this point. So we're going to call this elevator down and then skip pretty much a lot of this level pretty quickly by going around everything. This level casually takes, I would say, in the neighborhood of a good, like, half hour or so, at least. You want to, like, kind of collect everything and then kill all the enemies along the way. But we're trying to go fast, so we're going to kind of skip over them and get what we need to progress with. Grab that health there. We're gonna refill our rockets as well. 3 rockets to grab. There's a tank in our way, but he's usually blocking that door, so thankfully he's not this time. Grab the heavy machine gun ammo for rockets. Get through all that. That level's done. The last major boss that we're going to be fighting is the boss called Charity, which is the one that attacked the Sanctuary and killed all the surviving. So for this section, we need to go and get a key that's in here. So I jump up there to make the jump over here a little bit easier. And go over here, get the door. And then we're gonna do similar stuff here by skipping a lot of what we need to grab along the way and just go straight for what we need. Climb up here. Need to go get this key here. Open a door to get another key that we need to actually open the exit to the level. Slide under there with a crouch. For now, hug up here to cut a couple corners across the stage. Okay, so Martyr's almost done her mandate. Getting close to the end. Alright, so in this section, it's actually kind of fun because we get to fly a hovercraft. We're gonna go pick up the hovercraft here, which will allow us to get around the level really quickly. We gotta go destroy a bunch of these things. We're gonna go over here. We gotta go inside here for the other ones. Clear out those, so not a problem when we come back out. We need to open a bunch of doors to get through this facility here as quickly as we can. Pop that with 2 shotgun shots. Make our way back out to our hovercraft. And fly off. We need to go in this space over here. Jump out of the hovercraft into this facility. Where's our hovercraft? Where'd we drop it? There it is. Okay. There's an upgrade here. We can grab while we're in here, which is great. And oops, wanted that upgrade there. We'll get gluttony so we can get increased storage, and then there is the last one we need to get is in here. Need to kind of fly in here, blow it up, fly back to the temple over here. We're gonna get out and then finish the stage. Missed the ramp, unfortunately. We're doing good. I'm glad that the Stellar Blade run is over, because goddamn, the last two bosses were giving me a struggle, especially the very last one. But considering the boss rush is the hardest part of the run, why we had a generous estimate. Just glad that we finished well under it still. Didn't necessarily want to spend like 45 minutes to an hour on the last boss, but you know, it is what it is. Limited upgrades definitely make it not as easy. Yeah, we need to get a switch down here. And then we need to grab a switch here. We can refill our machine gun if we needed it. Okay, so in this stage we're supposed to drive this tank all the way to the exit of the end of the level, basically. But we're just going to bunny hop our way because it's faster. Driving the tank is super slow and we don't really want to. Try not to die while inside the tank fighting all of this. So because we have all that movement speed and our double jumps and our double air dashes, we'll just use that to our advantage to keep momentum with the bunny hops to avoid a lot of the enemies and not have much of a problem. As long as we keep an eye on our stamina, because like I said, stamina consumption matters. It's the jump pad to get up here. Grab the card key. Now we're above the whole stage, and we don't want to fall back down, so we want to be very careful about some of the shortcuts that we do here. We're supposed to do a little bit of a different path than what we're doing, so because we have the high jump, double jump, and the double air dash, we're going to use that to kind of cut across this section here instead of walking around. Need to jump up to the door, please. Thank you. Grab that card key. High jump, double jump, air dash over here. Unlock the end of the level with these switches. And on to Charity. I do not want to fall. I lose so much time if I fall. At least it's not the first Citadel, because if I fell out of bounds or in a spot where the game didn't want me to, I would instantly die and have to restart the entire stage. Okay, so there's a whole maze to deal with, but I know where the exit is, so we can go straight to where we need to go to fight the boss. Do I have rockets? I do. Perfect. Make the first part of the fight a little easier. Fortunately, it's a little bit higher here, so I can't do that as quickly as I killed them in Sanctuary. But we buy the capacity on the heavy machine gun here to whittle down the rest of his health, thankfully. Get the last purifier device activated. And we'll use our resources here to make sure that we're full health and everything going into the last leg. Now we got to pick up the body, and then we're going to be heading off into the epilogue to combine all of the body parts we picked up. And all the body parts belong to our brother. The martyr, the character we play as, is the sister. And he died in the first game. And we'll read the lore just before we finish, before we go into the epilogue, after we collect this body part and get back to Sanctuary, because there's really lots of lore, and that's the only way we get the lore. There's not much reading to do. There's a bit more lore kind of scattered around in areas that take a lot of time to go find and get, and I don't remember where all of them are. But we can at least read the lore attached to the body parts that we picked up before we go to the epilogue. Restock all our supplies, and then we're going to read the lore just by walking up to them. So the fragment of wrath. You've committed the sin of wrath, you've committed the sin of sloth, you've committed the sin of gluttony, you've committed the sin of envy, lust, of greed, and of pride. Therefore I've torn your arms, torn your legs, torn your intestines, gouged your eyes, I've torn out your genitals, torn out your lungs, and tore your soul apart. So that you can never swing your fist again, so you can never rest again, never taste your bread again, never aim high, never get pleasure, never speak, and never have dignity, to never again commit sin. If angels tear people apart, we shall be the ones to hold them together. If angels oppress humanity, we shall be the ones to forgive. We shall be the mothers and the fathers of the forsaken, and then give the unconditional love for those fragile souls. We shall be humanity's salvation. There was a closer sister and brother. One sinned, the other one was also sinned, but was supposed to be forgiven. On the day of judgment, the brother took the blame for the sister. He was punished, and instead of the sister, his body and soul and dignity were mutilated, humiliated. The wrong verdict was given. Countless angels swarmed over the surviving sisters so that the misjudgment could never happen again, gnawing at her organs and limbs, dragging out and trampling the inside of her womb underfoot. How hard they destroyed her existence, however, they could never punish her. Bye, sister. I don't want my life, I don't want infinite lives or the power to tear angels apart. Give me back the one I love, give me back the lives in my belly. There is only demons on Earth who care about the poor lives. We could not tell them so. We have to pretend that we're the angels who redeemed mankind. Every time we protect the children, our men, our flesh is gouged. Of our bones and are shattered. Our bodies are replaced by machines, so we grow false wings from our bodies. We can only boast that this pain is proof that we are on the right path. We could not be salvation, we could not be angels. We wanted to be humankind's salvation, and we wanted to be the angels of humankind. Fake conscience, fake souls, fake angels. We knew that you wanted, we knew what you wanted, but we couldn't fulfill it. We should have given you the peaceful rest, if only our conscience hadn't been so misguided. It was our selfishness that gave you an unwanted second life. It was our ingrained arrogance that made us believe that if we could not save this life, there was no cause for our actions. So it was no wonder that you wished to destroy us. And you were born again, as one who survived the divine punishment, as one of those whom the Almighty could not kill, the slayer of all demons, as the slayer of all angels. Destroy us, destroy all the angels and demons. Go forth under the light, walk the path of the martyrdom, and let the light of salvation shine on us all. That's all the lore. That covers basically the story from the first game all the way to the end of this game. Essentially, the brother and sister, like I said, we're playing as the sister, which is the martyr. Our brother took the blame for the sin that we committed in the first game, which was blowing up humanity and killing all the angels in the process. And so, and now we have parkour as well. The wall running's a little jank. But yeah, so we're really pissed off and we want to kill them for mutilating our brother. I need to purge my oxygen so I can continue wall running. And now we gotta go put all these body parts in to open these doors to get through the rest of the level. This whole section is mostly gonna be parkouring and stuff like that. But yeah, some pretty biblical lore attached to this game. We'll be abusing the wall running to kind of like climb things as well. As long as we have stamina, we can wall running. And then for this part, we want to go up here. And then we're going to skip the rest of the level by jumping to this pillar and climbing up there. And we want to make sure that we keep an eye on our oxygen as we're kind of jumping off the wall repeatedly. Oh my god, I messed it up. Okay. I want to go straight into the wall so that I get the wall run trigger. Covered, okay. That skips going around a lot of the level there. We can get straight to the end. So yeah, time's gonna be coming up in about 5 to 10 minutes at this point. Happy to read the lore, costed me a bit of time, but that's fine. Now we have the wall run again. Stop. I need to get around this. I'm supposed to get batteries to unlock that door to get by it, but we don't really need to go do that. We can kind of skip that by climbing around it. Because we really only need the card key that's up this section here. And I missed. Unfortunate. Only reset me here, that's fine. I need to go up here. Kind of skip as much of the level as I can. Now we can just go to the end. Alright, only a couple more sections to go and then we'll be done. Then we can fulfill our mandate. put an end to these. Put an end to the rest of everything. We're gonna climb up here again using the wall run, and then we're gonna climb up this wall as well. Get these axes here. And we're gonna skip another section here by jumping onto this wall to climb it. Skipped roughly a quarter of the level now, and then we're gonna skip going around. Okay. And recover it. Game lets me, thank you. I'll run to here for safety, grab the food and the oxygen. We have more stamina. There we go. Wait for the store to open. I jump to get up here. I don't have wall run here. I can't use the same tricks as I was using for all the other stages, kind of bypass most of the level. Where am I going here? Did I just... Oh yeah, I gotta go this way. Place is just like a giant maze at this point. You just need to get this switch to open the door, progress through. If we're lucky, we'll get a rocket jump once we get through the door up here. And then we'll get some good momentum going forward. I missed it. Okay, I messed it up. I hit the wall instead. It's unfortunate. Alright, so we're gonna get the jetpack here, and we're also gonna get a new gun to replace the SMG that we had. We'll have full ammo for. It's the Ultra, and we'll use that to kind of fly ourselves across most of the level here. Prep a double jump so that make it easier to jetpack up here. Same thing here. We're gonna go up here. Run, sprint off here. Try to use the jetpack sparingly to kind of get us across here. Up another high jump. Our jetpack recharges. Up another one here. Go. And we gotta over here, prep another high jump. Oh, I didn't do that right. Didn't have enough jetpack. I want to make sure I carry the high jump momentum with the jetpack so I can ascend faster. I failed to do there. Alright, so we have a section where we actually have to fight some enemies, and then we'll be at the last section where we can fulfill the mandate with all of the parts that we collected by either destroying them all or by fusing them into a new being. Replace the humanity that we had destroyed along the way. We're gonna pick up this armor for safety. And I'm going to just gonna run through this really quickly. Don't need to fight anything, so kind of jump around past everything here. Need to put the last body part in here at the top of this pillar. And 4 mini bosses will spawn around the Alright, well, we have rockets. Just gotta be careful not to kill myself with them. There we go. I was gonna say, that should be the last one there. Alright, approaching the end of the run now. All we have to do is fulfill our mandate, activating the button. This was a bit of a slower run, aside from the stop to read lore. Alright, and I want everything to... So instead of fusing everything together, we're going to blow everything up instead. And... that's time. Mandate has been fulfilled. We literally just blew up everything yet again. Well, yeah, that's the end of the run. We read the lore in the run just before we finished the last section on the epilogue, but yeah, it's a fun game. It's a bit challenging. I could definitely be faster, but it's been focused on Stellar Blade lately, so I was a little rusty in some areas. But overall, still finishing the rest of it, so I'm happy about that. And yeah, it's a pretty obscure boomer shooter game, if you're into those kinds of things. But yeah, that was Beyond Citadel, which is the sequel to a game called Citadel. Yeah, so if you like waifu boomer shooters, worth giving it a try. It has some pretty interesting gunplay mechanics that I didn't really get to talk about too much in the run. But yeah, it's got a nice little difficulty curve attached to it with the gunplay, which makes it really fun. But as a casual game, it's a lot of fun. As a speedrun, the fact that you get all that movement tech is what makes it really fun for me. And when you're finishing levels in like 30 seconds to a minute, you know, you feel really good about it. But anyways, that's it for me. I hope you enjoyed the run and enjoy the rest of really lots of lore.